In this last video segment, we're going to show how to complete an event and download insert cards. So going to the California site, clicking on Online Start Box, and we need to log in. And Daffy is the fellow we're going to use since he's registered for that event, but he hasn't completed it yet. And login is complete, and we can see that if we look at the registration, it's not there. It's in Maps Finish. That's where we want to go. That's where we left off at the last time here, and we've already walked the walk in Southampton, and now we're ready to get credit for both Daffy and Donald. So we can go to Event Completed, go to Finish, and we start to look at this, and see that we can put in a date here, and we can also put in distances. For example, the two distances support are 5 or 10, but if we didn't be able to do that, we can enter a distance here, and also maybe Daffy walked the 5 and Donald walked the 10 or some other amount. Then those numbers can be entered explicitly here. And even at this stage, we can edit the participants, though we got to be careful that we got cash in the bank to cover that. Now the other thing to note here is that we have some things in here. Now I seem to remember for that Southampton walk that we had lakes and reservoirs, but you know, where's the ice cream parlor in here? It's not there. So even now we can go back and add that to Daffy's account. We just got to get to the right spot, and as usual, hit the back arrow. Now we can go over to my account, and here's my books, and guess what? There is no ice cream parlor there, so let's put that in there. I mean, everyone likes to do the ice cream parlor special program. Click that off. And ice cream parlors is in place. And may have been there already. I didn't see it there. Maybe it was already. But anyway, we made sure that it's there. And now we can go back to Event Finish. So again, we go back up here, go back to my Start Box, Maps Finish, and Finish. Now we're back where we are, and Ice Cream Parlor should be in the list. Yep, there it is. But wait a minute. Maybe Donald didn't do that either. Let's go check Donald's account. So I'm going to log out of here and go to Donald's account. So I happen to know Don's password, but that's kind of inconvenient if you think about it. And we're going to take care of that. Nope. And here's Don's account, and we're going to take a look at his special programs, and he doesn't have much in there at all. So let's add a few in here for him. Let's put in fountains and ice cream parlors for sure. Ice cream parlors. Come on, check off here. So this is Donald Duck's account. And what was that other one? Fountains. I really have trouble finding these things sometimes. Make-A-Wish, of course. There. Those two. Let's add those. Bring that up. And update the list. Okay, there we go. So now we got those two in there. But you know, that was kind of inconvenient. We had to log in and everything. So let's make it so that Daffy can actually access Donald's account more directly. And that's where the PC code comes in. We pointed this out earlier. So now I'm back in My Connections. And notice there's this PC code. And what I'm going to do is take a copy of that code. I'm going to make sure I just pick up that code only. Copy it here. Now I'm going to log out. And I'm going to go back into Daffy's account. And we'll notice that on here at the bottom of his thing, this is a place where I can put that code in. So I'm going to paste that code right there and submit it. And it says, got it. And voila, what do I have here? I have a button on my status page. This is my status page, Daffy's status page. And you can go directly to the Donald's account without having Donald's password. And he can do that because Donald explicitly gave him permission. He was able to log into his account, pass this code off to Daffy. Daffy can look at the code and see into Donald's account. And sure enough, we can click over here onto Donald's account and see that he has ice cream parlor. So that's a convenient thing to have connection code there so we can easily do that. And you might want to do this with your spouse. This way, only one person has to deal with being able to print out cards and things like that and enter special programs and all the other logistics beyond the niceness of being able to pay for that person also. So all I have to do to get back into Daffy's account is click here on that, and now I'm back in Daffy Duck's account. And one more time, let's go to the start box, my maps and finish, and let's finish this walk. And so we're going to put in a day. Let's choose today. Why not? And let's make it simple. Everybody did 10 kilometers. And we're going to check off some of these guys. So we did ice cream parlors. We had lakes. I think there was definitely the fountain was in there. I don't remember any volcanoes. And no snobs. There was a turkey in the tree. So those are the 3 that we're going to check off. And go up to the top. And this is the point of no return. When we click on create stamps for the event, we're basically saying we've completed this event and now we're ready to get our insert cards updated. And what happens here, you see here, his distance card has Southampton Stroll. His events card has Southampton Stroll. He has a new card, Ice Cream Parlors. New card for Lakes and Reservoirs. So notice here's one for Fountain. Okay, so he decides that he's got all the things he needs for Lakes and Reservoirs. He can now print out this particular card. Typically, you don't want to print out a card unless you really need to use it, because once you print it out, it's going to disappear from this list. So we're going to download this particular card, this Lakes and Reservoir card. And again, we get the option to save it. And it has a pretty distinctive name, an insert card with a number. We'll just save that. And now I'm going to open that so you can take a look at what that card looks like. And expand this and drop this down. So this is a card that's, you can print this out. Notice it's a very lovely insert card. Perfect stamp. It has the date the walk occurred, what looks like a standard AVA stamp, and below it actually what events were this number, the stamp corresponds to. So very nice. And I have actually in the past printed out stamps for Donald in the past. Let's see here. There's one in that same directory. Let's see. Well, I'm going to have trouble finding it, of course. Boom, boom. No. Well, I can't find it right now, but it's around. So you can look here, you can see that. So the other thing, I guess there's another way though. Like you saw me there, I lost that card. Well, what am I going to do? Well, we have added a feature recently where you can view cards that you've already downloaded. And you're getting a warning here that you got to be careful here. You might get duplicate cards because if you've downloaded once, this is really an archive that you kind of go to if you've lost one of the cards. And sure enough, here's a beautiful card with lots of things on it. These are all things that have been previously downloaded by, in this case, Daffy. So I can choose to, again, to download that PDF and do a save as. And here I can actually see where I've been putting these cards now. Yeah, see there, I had already printed that card, but oh well. So I'll say yes. And now if I do an open, there it is. So I was saved by this feature that I had already printed out this card, and now I have a way to get one where I've lost it on my computer. Happens to the best of us, I guess. So we can go back to the current cards, and by the way, when we go back, we should see that indeed that one card is no longer there because we printed it out. I believe so, yes. So that concludes this part of the presentation. I think I want to go back and show you that we can now go back to look at the cards for our friend Donald. So here we are on Donald Duck's account, and we're going to click on the start box to be able to see his cards. Insert cards. You see indeed he got his cards, Southampton Stroll cards. Entries on the cards here. Ice cream parlors. And so you see here the advantage of being able to quickly go check out. And so you'll likely want to do this with a spouse or a close friend. It allows you to do the logistics for them in a user-friendly way. Maybe somebody that's not as computer savvy as you are. Helps them out a little bit. Notice that Donald has minors on his account that in principle we could manage, but there is a statement here that, guess what, you're not allowed to manage another person's account from another person's account. Can't go three deep, so to speak. So we'll not do that right now, but I could in fact access Donald's account more directly. So we'll just do that more directly so we can see that thing. So here's Don and his password. And eventually, there we go. And now those are now ready to be used. And so we can see what a minor account looks like. So notice it has a start box and an account. And that means you can set up, they could be set up special programs for Huey. And a few connections. He could actually pass off his connection to another person if he wanted to. And he has, I don't think he has any events. Let's see here. He has his own start box. He doesn't have any events yet. But you can see here that that's a very friendly thing to have for minors. Donald's able to manage his minors. And let me remind you how you set those up just real quick. You go into My Waiver, and at the bottom, actually we can see all the minors that Donald has set up here. Huey, Louie, and Dewey, of course, his kids, his ducklings. So that pretty much concludes the presentation today on all the user features. I think you can agree that it's quite pretty much complete set of features, and I think it's appropriate that we need to take a moment and give some acknowledgement to that person, and that would be
Chris Zeglin, online Startbox creator, developer, and maintainer. I hope you would agree that Chris has done a fine job on implementing a full-featured application. And we didn't even go through the club interface in any great detail, which has also been done quite well. Next person to acknowledge is Holly Pelking. She's a member of the NEC for the last number of years and has been a strong promoter of the online Startbox and helped provide and get support from the NEC for the introduction of the online Startbox just for the California clubs, and then again later we got approval to go national for this last year's events. Your narrator has been Mike Green, Online Startbox Customer Support. Feel free to contact me at mikegINF@gmail.com.